So my name is Abraham Joseph. Okay, so we're going to talk about the BCG matrix. As I said, this is a portfolio matrix, and it's a 2x2 matrix. And there are 4 possibilities in this matrix. And for any company, this matrix will help the organization to place or position its SBU in one of the 4 boxes. Where you place them matters because it's decided based upon the growth rate of the market and the share of the market. Market share, market growth. So you have high share at this end, you have low share at this end, you have high growth at this end, and you have low growth at this end. So these are the 2 things you've got to find out first before you position. You've got to find out the growth rate, and you've got to find out the share. Make sense, right? So for each SBU, or the way you decide to classify it, you can do it geographically, as I said, or it could be based on brands as well. So for example, it could be Alipay. Yeah. So whichever way you've decided to classify it, once you have the SBUs, let's say you have 3 or 4 SBUs, identify who else is in the market that has a similar service, find out their leadership position in the market, so market share basically. Usually market share is expressed as a percentage, but it can also be numeric in nature. So the total revenue in the market, etc. So identify the market share of the leader in the market, then look at the relative market share of your SBU, and then position it based upon that. Now, you can quantitatively determine it, like I said, if the major share is about 30%, then you want to basically make the scale between 0 and 30. Let's say the highest share possible is 30. Okay? So on that basis, you position the SBU. Now the circle, you can use a circle to position the SBU. And usually the size of the circle is based upon the revenue of the business as well. The revenue that the business is generating, that SBU is generating, compared to the total revenue. Okay? Because in one look, when a company looks at this matrix, it can find out, okay, this company is doing well. It's making money, it's got a good share in the market, and there's future potential for that business. Let's put some money into that SBU. It's a quick overview of all the different SBUs of the business. Strategic business unit, okay? So then you have these 4 options. So you have question marks, you have stars, you have cash cows, you have dogs. And usually speaking, what the company would want or would expect is that they would want an SBU that's in the question marks position to progress. That's what they usually want. That's what they would like. And that's one of the purposes of this matrix, is to show that progression as well. So generally speaking, you want the SBU to move from this position to this position, and then from there to this, and then perhaps eventually there as well. So it might not happen exactly that way. Okay, so there are various possibilities. A question mark is something that the company has to invest money in. It wants to grow, but there's potential in it. It is risky, but it wants to grow. It's like a service that the company has just launched a few years back and is waiting to see whether it will progress, whether it will develop. But one thing you know is that there's good potential in the market. Okay? Like when the tablet computers came out, there was potential for the growth of tablet users. Okay, it was at that time it was even said that tablet users would overtake laptop users, desktop computer users, and so on. So for a company manufacturing tablets, let's say Samsung, for example, it puts its tablet as an SBU, let's say the whole division that's manufacturing tablets and so on. Then you move on to a stars. A stars is something that was a question mark at some point. It's continuing to show potential because of your continued investment. The thing about question marks is you might not expect a lot of profits at this position. You might actually be making losses, and perhaps you might also just be breaking even. But in the stars position, you're beginning to see some returns. Okay, and it's improving its position in the market as well. So it's competing with the major players. It's doing okay. It's doing fine, and the position is in this box here somewhere. Because also the market growth is high. It's still good. There's future potential. Then from the stars, you look at the cash cows. In the cash cows, every single SBU in the cash cow is what makes money for the business to keep going on. You know, for any business, you need cash flow. So the cash flow comes from the SBUs in the cash cow position. That's why it's called a cash cow. You get it? Any questions so far? So in the cash cow, whatever you position there is what feeds all the investments, is what feeds the research and development. It's what feeds the question marks, for example. So money that's coming through the cash cow is reinvested somewhere. And money coming from the cash cow is also obviously meeting all the needs of the business. It's building up the reserves of the business, cash flow. And it's an SBU for the business, as far as the business is concerned. That SBU has been in the market for a while. That's why the growth rate is not very high. You could say that it's kind of saturated because it's already doing very well. Like the personal banking division of Barclays, for example. It's been there for years and years and years. It's doing fine. It's making money, or perhaps even the mortgage division. It's making money, and so on. It's getting a lot of revenue into the entire business's revenue turnover. So the cash cow is something you might not put too much money into it to improve it, modify it, develop it, etc. But you want to keep it going. Okay, the reason they call it a cash cow is because, like in the cow, as a cow, you would know that you milk the cow. Yes. So they use the same terminology, milking the cow. Basically, getting what the cash cow can deliver as long as it can deliver. And then you move to the dogs. The dogs are basically a business, the SBU, that's not doing very well. It's not got a high growth rate in the market, not the SBU, the market itself. And it's got a low share in the market compared to other players. So it's the kind of SBU that you want to think about cautiously, and you want to think about carefully. You want to see whether you want to continue putting money into it, or it's going to be a dead asset in the future. Some businesses would use that opportunity to sell off that business, that division, that arm of the business, if you like. Or perhaps they will convert it into something else. They'll make a lot of modifications to it and relaunch it as a question mark. That's possible as well. Now you might find that the business that you're analyzing does not have any dogs, and that's perfectly fine. As long as you have justified that, yes, there are cash cow stars and question marks, perhaps there's no dogs. Now in the previous example you saw, Barclays had non-core assets, or non-core division. The division that handles non-core assets, basically in that position. So it depends upon the nature of the business and how you classify the SBU. So far, so good. Any question in this? So remember this, that the way you apply the BCG is different to the way you apply ANSOF. Okay? This is a growth share matrix. ANSOF is for strategic direction for the whole business. But also, you're making sure that there are certain activities that tell us, yes, the company is following market penetration. Or yes, the company is following market development, etc. Product development, etc. Is that okay? Yes. So as the example says here, you can see the Apple iWatch is perhaps a star. It could change, but yeah, there's future growth for it, isn't there? Wearable technology, it's called.
That's why cash cows can also become stars, right?
No, because cash cows have come to a position where they're in the market for a long, long time, well established. There's not too many changes you can make to that type of SBU service, for example. So, as I say, significant investment may be required to maintain growth, etc. So remember these things, as I said, in order to be able to actually explain and justify why you say it's a question mark, why you say it's a star, why you say it's a cash cow. Cash cows. Coca-Cola, the major breadwinner, if you like, for the Coca-Cola group. It's a cash cow. and it's been in that position for years. BCG, the dogs. The Windows Phone from Nokia. The Virgin Cola. You know, Virgin is one company that invests in so many different places. And as you know, it's a good example of a company that follows a diversification strategy. Okay, that's good. Okay.